and some other Greens around the world that coalitions are not generally a great idea. What the Scottish Greens did when they held balance of power in the Scottish Parliament was had a confidence and supply agreement, which basically means that you're not forced to vote for things. If you're a part of a coalition, you're forced to vote for things, a lot of things that you apparently don't agree with. I'm not quite sure about the Lib Dems, whether they actually don't agree with them or not, and just voting anyway. But what we would aim to do is work with parties that support our values. And that means, in practical terms, we would work with Labor, we would work potentially very closely with Labor. If it's a Labor-Lib Dem coalition, I suppose we could probably work with them too. I cannot see any circumstances in which we would work like that with Tories. It just couldn't possibly happen. But coalitions is something that we need to be very careful of, and small parties need to be very careful of. If you do confidence supply, that means we're going to hold up the government and make sure the government doesn't fall, but we don't have to vote for things we don't agree with. And that really is a very positive model that I think that we're looking at, any time we're in that sort of situation. Our best chance to avoid climate change. Well, actually, we're not going to avoid climate change. It's already here. We're at about 0.8 of a degree. But what we can do is do everything we possibly can, make the biggest possible difference we can to make it as small as possible. We've got to work very, very hard to keep it under the 2 degrees that all the science shows is absolutely critical. And, I don't have any magic wand for how to make that happen. We've got a campaign, and that means, as I said, there's a whole green movement, whether that's out there taking direct action, whether that's out there working in transition towns, building new types of economies from the ground up, whether that's in mainstream politics. We've just got to work at every level and make every difference we can. And that also means that, you can do in your everyday life, just when you're talking to your friends and your family, that's campaigning too. So, your people, most of the people in this room, probably all of the people in this room, understand that this is a pressing, urgent issue, and we need to take action, and you can take action. On the consumption and population question, I'm really pleased that you put that the right way around, because our problem is consumption. As I was saying, the average person in Britain lives a 3-planet lifestyle. We're consuming what is 3 planets. So our problem isn't population. Our problem is consumption. Now, when you talk about population policy, I wouldn't necessarily group this in this, but it is worth mentioning that the Green Party very strongly believes in women's right to control their own bodies and control their own fertility. It's something that, astonishingly, in Britain we're seeing coming under considerable challenge at the moment, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. But we need to speak up in Britain and around the world for women's right to control their own fertility in their own bodies. And one of the things that we know will be a side effect of that is that when women have those options, they actually have fewer children. So, that's a side effect of a policy that might be positive, but what really matters is the policy of women having the right to control their own bodies.